This is Jeffrey Friedland. Welcome to Friedland's Corner at Medical and Pharma Insider. Today, I want to spend a few minutes and talk about the medical robotic systems market. I've been following this market, which is still a very young embryonic industry, for quite a while. In fact, a few years ago, I needed a full knee replacement and really sought out an orthopedic surgeon who used the Mako Total Knee robotic system, a company that's owned by Stryker. My conclusion was that it sped up my recovery period because of the robotics controlled by the orthopedic surgeon actually diminished the amount of damage to peripheral tissue. Basically, the robot was more accurate than a human, and that sped up my recovery period. Recently, some projections were released by Reports Globe, and they indicated, and as many of you know, I don't put a lot into projections because I just don't know how people sometimes come up with these numbers. But as it relates to medical robotics, I think they're probably pretty good numbers. In 2019, the global market based on revenues was $8.9 billion globally for robotics, medical robotics. And Reports Globe has indicated that they expect that to grow to 21.5 billion by 2027. That's a huge increase from 8.9 billion in 2019 to 21.5 billion by 2027. The key players, everybody says, well, who are the key players? Who should I keep an eye on? Who should I watch? The key players in medical robotics, or some of them anyway, are Renishaw PLC, Health Robotics SLR, OR Productivity PLC, Titan Medical, Intuitive Surgical, Maser Robotics, iRobot Corporation, and a lot of people think they just make vacuum cleaners for your house, but iRobot Corporation's in the list, Hansen and Accuray. So those are companies that any of you who are interested in this space should definitely keep an eye on. The main applications, from my perspective, are really three major categories: neurology, orthopedics, and laparoscopy. All three of those are huge, huge market segments, as I'm sure you know. And when you break down applications, they include orthopedic surgical robots and neurosurgical robotic systems. First of all, rehabilitation robots, that's going to be just a huge growing area, I believe. Non-invasive radiosurgery robots, hospital and pharmacy robots. In fact, we saw a lot of some hospitals testing pharmacy delivery of drugs to individual hospital rooms using robotics during this whole COVID-19 pandemic. And emergency response robotic systems. So those are some of the things that we should keep an eye on. But I think that medical robotic systems are just going to likely outpace many other life science companies as far as revenue growth and acceptance. And a lot of that's going to be driven by what we're going to come out of as a country and a world after COVID-19, or as we begin to come out of the world of COVID-19. A lot of pressure on healthcare, obviously, the likelihood of a Democratic administration in Washington in both houses of Congress controlled by Democrats, and Obamacare perhaps being put on steroids as a result. A lot of cost pressure on not just medical practices, but also hospitals, where it's obviously less expensive to employ robotics than human beings. And we've seen that in the auto industry, even in low labor cost markets like China. So I think this is an area that's worth taking a look at and watching. Again, this is Jeffrey Friedland at Friedland's Corner at Medical and Pharma Insider. Until next time, bye.